There are two paths you can follow to apply AI agents into your business to either get ahead of competition, get more done, and ultimately help you achieve the dream business and lifestyle that you're looking to create for yourself. Knowing which path is essential because this determines how much more productive you can become and what your agents can ultimately buy back from you, whether that's time, your money, or produce more revenue for you. In this video, we're going to discuss exactly that. The big problem that people come to me with is that whenever I get on calls with people, whenever I'm talking with people about AI agents, they don't really know what an AI agent either is, what it can do for you, because it's all very new. There's so much going on, and there's already a limited amount of time how much a business owner has in order to actually look deeply into this, see what it could do for them specifically, and if anything that they're looking for is even possible. So let's first start off with Path A. Path A is the person who thinks you can just kind of create everything from ground zero with an AI that you install on your computer somewhere. Let's just say you install Claude, you get OpenClaw, or maybe say you even get a Hermes agent, and then you think this thing's just gonna create a business from scratch, just from thin air. That's not really how it works. Path A is really about equipping your AI agent and empowering it. And what this really means is that it has to know a lot of information about you. So who you are, what you do, what you offer, what your business is, or what do you want to create. And from there, once you're providing it all these various different contexts, it's really about hooking everything up together, say from the tools like software integrations, platforms you plan on using, whether or not you're creating an e-commerce business, whether you're creating a software, whether you're creating a service-based business, whatever the business that you're looking to create, you have to think in advance of what exactly it is the scope that you're looking for it to empower you with. So for instance, if you know this thing's going to be accessing your Facebook Ads Manager, what that ultimately means is that you have to eventually at some point build a skill or a tool file so it understands how to actually run and create ads. Without it, you're just going to be prompting the AI back and forth and it's not going to really be doing anything. Alternatively, if you have a very specific product research method or set of intel you look for in terms of how it's like to create a product or maybe import it into your store, and I'm speaking here from like a dropshipping space, you're looking to create AI agents for dropshipping. What you have to do here is you have to map out any tools, any integrations, any MCP servers. They have to get the AI to install it into itself. So then whenever, say, you're prompting it to go out there and do something, research a task, or import something specifically into your store, then it understands exactly what it is it has to do in order to complete the job. Because you can be doing something simultaneously while this thing is importing the products or configuring the product titles or just configurations onto your store. And then from there, you can have that done. It's like having a worker side by side with you getting work done. And the key thing about Path A is that it's not necessarily you're automating things because there aren't really anything to automate. Why would you automate a business that you're just trying to create from the ground zero when there's nothing to automate? You know what I mean? Like you don't have customer service tickets or you don't have things that are consistently happening on a daily basis where it's very repeatable. That's for Path B, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But they don't really know what an AI agent either is, what it can do for you, because it's all very new. There's so much going on. This path is really about arming your AI and empowering it so it has the tools, it has the connections. You can speak from it from your phone or your computer or wherever you are. And then from there, get things done for you. When, say, you're on a walk somewhere, you're doing something, maybe you're away from your computer, it can spin up a whole entire coding project or update your whole entire website because you had an idea that came to you on a walk. It's really just about being more productive and having this assistant get jobs done for you that you otherwise would not have time for, or you just don't want to do yourself. But the key thing here to understand is that what you're doing is you're arming it with tools and skills to get things done consistently in a way that makes sense for you. But before that, it comes with you investing some time to preload it with context, with information, so it understands what your goals are, what kind of tasks or like the scope of the things that you guys need to do together. And then from there, going out and executing. You're gonna probably be doing some setup, some integration, getting the API keys, setting up the necessary connections, and the AI is actually gonna be executing some of the things. Maybe there's gonna be a bit of both because some things maybe it can't do, whereas you can do. So it's really about finding a balance of like, what do you want the AI to do and what do you want yourself to do and focus on. But from the beginning, if say you wanted to access, say, a email marketing provider, maybe there might not be a connection in order to create the full entire series of emails in, say, a workflow automation. Maybe the tool provides it, maybe it doesn't. So you may have to find a trade-off where it's like, it's creating you the series of welcome emails and then you're just copying and pasting it over into the provider. But it really just depends if, say, in the integrations or the developer documents, your AI can call an API endpoint and then from there actually create a full workflow automation on its own. And you don't have to complicate this. I know I'm saying like you have to plug it with integrations and tools and stuff stuff like that. It's as simple sometimes as just copying the documentation from the developer portal for, say, a software or platform, just telling it to go web search it, research it, and then once it has it there, it can just create a skill and tool integration for you. And from there, it will literally just guide you how to fetch the API key, set it for yourself, and then from there, once it tests the connection, it is ready to go. You can just prompt it in a new session and then it can call the tools. So this is all path A. It's really about being more productive. But don't just think you're going to come into working with this AI and think it's just going to spawn you a full entire profitable business with one prompt, at least for now. Now, the other path is for people who actually have revenue coming in. You have systems, you have people, maybe you have a bunch of headcount. Maybe there's things that you are doing that you don't want to focus on. Maybe say you are burning a lot of money in certain areas with, say, people, terrible VAs, or maybe repeatable processes that don't even need humans in the loop anymore. Or say you are having money leakages. And by this, I mean, what are the opportunity costs of not responding to people faster, or say doing, follow-ups, sales calls, things of that nature. And this is a big money leakage problem. So there are three components to this. It's saving time, it's saving costs or money, and how much more money your business can be making. So there's three areas we can do. And what we have to do here is more about self-auditing yourself, your team, your business. And then from there, figuring out where do you want to tackle first that's going to offer you the most immediate value. And the thing is, sometimes if you tackle one area, it can simultaneously tackle other areas. But it's really about, like I said, buying back time, saving money, making more money. So let's start with time. If you are spending, or your team is spending, a lot of time into certain tasks, it's really a good idea just to take a self-audit of where time is going on a daily basis and on a weekly basis in 30-minute increments. Get it into a Google Sheet, log it all down for 1 week, and then from there you'll start seeing repeat patterns of where time is going. And what you can do with each task is score it out of 1 to 3. 1 being absolutely terrible, you hate it, and 3 being you absolutely love doing this and you want to do more of it. Score all the tasks, find anything that you're doing on a repeatable basis, and then see whether or not there are a sequence of steps, systems that you have that you're repeatedly doing that you believe an AI agent can automate. And if not for your own time, your team's time, what are they doing on a repeat basis? Do you believe an agent can be put in place of them, or it can speed up the workflow, or it can cut costs, maybe you could cut down your team, or say you can make more money from it if they were to increase their productivity? Once you audit your time, then it's really about just mapping out the full entire workflow, the full entire system, and then seeing exactly the tools, the skills, the access it has to have to your business. And by access, I mean, your agent, what it has to have access and know about your business. And from there, building out the workflows for your agent so it can take care of everything instead of say yourself or maybe some team members. So that kind of touched on both time and cost, but the same thing would literally apply to cost. Like, where do you believe you are spending a lot of capital on people doing repeat tasks? You know what I mean? Such as like follow-ups. Are they being done manually right now? Are you getting someone to manually source a bunch of various different reports and things together on a spreadsheet, say like a bookkeeper or something like that? Or say, do you already have virtual assistants somewhere that aren't doing a good job? Or are you constantly firing and hiring people because of high attrition rates in your business and people just leaving constantly, that they are performing repeatable tasks? So things like this, where it's costing you a lot of money in the long run, or they're just not really up to par in terms of what you're looking for, or accuracy and precision is very important, then what you want to do here is, rather than hiring outside talent or finding other people, you can see if an AI agent can completely replace that. And it's really just about finding the system, mapping all the steps and processes out, and then building something specifically for that workflow so you don't have to overhire or overspend on a specialist or an expert, and then they can just put an agent in that place, and it saves you a bunch of money in the long run. And the last area for path B is really about taking a money audit in terms of where your money is leaking. Are your follow-ups too slow? Are you not sending out pricing quotes and things like that to, say, various different suppliers and vendors? Because if you are, say, outsourcing this job to another country because you have a team there, but say they are working in their own hours and not US hours, and that's a big problem, because if everyone's awake during US hours and in another country they're sleeping or they're wrapping up the whole entire day, that's a big problem. And also too, keep in mind, this is people managing that whole entire job or whatever it is that you have them do. So if you can get an agent in place of them to respond faster, send quotes, or manage the full entire deal flow, and then even close, then that's a huge win, because you're doing this at a fraction of a cost, way faster. There's a way faster response happening, and at the same time you're closing deals, and then you can pull in more volume for your business. So here it's really about figuring out where money and opportunity is slipping through the cracks, or if, say, you were here to capture it, patch it, you can increase how much revenue and profits your business is ultimately making. Especially too if you want to do things like post more content, if you want to follow up with more people, if you want to do some sort of thought leadership and some sort of or on some sort of social media channel, then this is very important because you may not have the time or the resources to do it, but you can do this at a fraction of a cost if, say, you were to outsource this with an AI agent. And to wrap this all up, it's really just two pathways. Are you trying to be more productive with an AI agent to build up your empire in the future? If so, then this path is for you. And what you're doing here ultimately is just empowering your agent with the necessary context, information, data, tools, and skills so it can go out there and help you become more productive. You're more so looking to have a collaborative relationship here. Whereas say on path B, say you're already pulling in revenue and there's a lot of things already going, there's a lot of moving parts, there's people perhaps, there's already a lot of money coming in and out the door, then here what you're looking for is to deploy AI agents in a fleet of agents where what it can ultimately do is to help you save time, buy back time, save money, and ultimately produce more money. And this also doesn't discount the path A part, because even if you give your agent, your AI, access to all these various different tools, you can do two things. You can do a combination of having a productivity companion with this AI assistant, and at the same time, it can be doing work all around the clock every single day with infrastructure and foundation that you build for your business. So both paths are very profitable. Pick one which makes the most sense for you, and I promise you, you're going to get ahead in 2026 over other business owners that are doing this now. See you in the next one.